Good evening, Greg here, burning both ends. Burning on the back end of Saturday. We are into Sunday, 12:04 a.m. It's technically the 15th of July, but we are burning on the back end of the 14th. Wonderful Saturday. Gorgeous day today in Albany, California. Spent the day with my two girls. My wife's out of town. She's in, I think, Arizona. She might be heading to Vegas right now. She's going on like back-to-back little short trips. One with some girlfriends, one with her sister. So she's having a great time. And so it's me and the girls hanging out here. And we went to the park. They wore their roller skates at the park. Pretty cool. And then we came back, had some lunch. A little nap for my 4-year-old. And then we went to the aquatic center here in Albany. So we did some swimming. So it was awesome. My girls love swimming. So that was really good. And then a little bit of dinner. And then just bedtime. So yeah, and interesting today, I had a conversation while my 4-year-old napped. I had a conversation with my 7-year-old about Donald Trump. It's fascinating how much a 7-year-old knows about Donald Trump. I don't think that when I was 7, and I think this is a huge difference in this internet age and how much information is out there. Just when I was 7, I don't even knew if I understood the concept of the president, and she is speaking about the president on a first name basis, and even understands that there's like a lot of controversy in this president, and a lot of folks in the country don't agree with what he's doing, and interesting, and she even understands. So we used to live in Florida for a while. One of my startups was there, and then I ran an automation company for a few years there. She even knows that in Florida there's a good number of folks that support him, whereas in California it's especially where we live in the Albany, Berkeley area, people here not so much, right? And she even knows that. It's fascinating. So yeah, we had a little short conversation about Donald Trump, and pretty cool, I have to say. I'm impressed, very impressed. And then another thing, tonight I was watching a Gary Vee post about voice. I'm big into voice, I have to say. I really like voice. I like this ENS platform. I'll link his talk down below. I mean, it's not even a talk. It's more like almost like a commercial for voice. It's like a 3.5-minute video, and so I commented on the video, and in the middle of the comment, I just wanted to check to see if there was a skill for Alexa that could help my 7-year-old learn Mandarin, because she's in after school, not now, but during the school year, she's in this after school care program that teaches her Mandarin, and she loves it. So she loves learning it. And so I was like, I'd love to be able to help her learn more about, how to learn Mandarin, how to accelerate that. It'd be great if in a few years she could, speak Mandarin and English. I think that'd be awesome. So, and the big thing for me is, I think it's only because she's excited about it, right? This is one of the first things I'd say that she really is like super excited about on a regular basis, and so I want to feed that and see if it continues to go in a direction. And she was super excited when we got the Alexa. I think I talked about that, and so anyway, voice. I'm big on voice. Got the ENS platform. Really enjoying that. And actually, one of my side projects is going to be a voice project. I met this person who actually has a whole business plan together. She's got a really good idea, and so we're going to push on it. And she even took a course at the university here that's close by, an entrepreneurial course where it kind of helps her develop the business plan. It's very interesting. So she's done a lot of head work on it. So head work. A lot of like pre-work, or a lot of setup work. So we're gonna, starting in August, that's gonna be yet another one of my projects that I'm gonna work on. So excited for that. So and I haven't really talked much about iCore today. So iCore is this tech transfer training. I'm learning about the Lean Startup model developed by Steve Blank, customer discovery, business model canvas, all that stuff. And this is a DOE funded program. And I'm still working the interviews, and something I'm really proud of. So Committed to the presentation, so definitely rocked with that today, and I'm still pushing on these interviews, getting my nose in this market research. So, and it's just a fascinating world, I have to say. It's really fascinating. So psyched about that. And so this coming up this week is our kind of last week on the ground, week 7, and then week 8 we're in Denver. So, and then we just wrap up, and then it kind of disappears. And one of the things that's interesting, because there's all this talk about, do we spin out a startup? Do we really push on this hard? Because we did propose for some government funding, but it's slow to come, and it's going to be a slow burn on if we get it. It's going to take several years to move through the funding. And I don't know if and a lot of us don't think the industry is going to wait. And so it's like, do we have a startup? How do we do it? And what I'm noticing are some of the signs of the team members and how motivated they are about a startup. Because a lot of these people, they've just been with this company for quite some time. They really haven't been out. They haven't tasted the startup, right? And one of the key indicators that I'm noticing is that one of our people that we've interviewed, this like super guru of the industry, has been kind of poking and prodding at us to go to this conference. That pretty much everyone in the community is going to be there, and that's going to be a place to go and really talk and understand and see what's going on and see if this really has traction, see if it's got legs. And I would think that if the technical folks on my team, if they were really super motivated to get this out in the industry, they would be doing everything that they could to get to this conference. This really is, this is one of those conferences that just the whole community is going to be there. Just done. So you go there, you can literally talk to everybody. You plan that one right, and you'll walk away with pretty much, you would have a list of people to partner with. You would have a really good understanding of, if this thing really could work. You would be able to, you would have a list of people to follow up. You would just pretty much, you wouldn't walk away with everything, but essentially you would walk away with all that you need in the next 6 months or even 3 months maybe to just completely understand if this thing could work. Aside from like building it and testing it, you would have enough smart people, a list of enough smart people to really just kind of nail it and really understand what's going on. And the fact that none of my technical teammates are, no one's pounding their fist to go to this thing, and I can't be the one to push us to go, because I'm the entrepreneurial lead, but I am definitely the least technically savvy about this idea, and this is not my area of expertise. I've got on my team 2 PhDs that have like decades of experience in this specific field. So it's, I'm not going to get my PhD in this anytime soon, and it's not going to be me that's going to like really make this thing work from a technical standpoint, which is of course is critical, because this is a highly technical field, a highly technical piece of equipment. I could set up all the business side things and partnerships and deals that I want and get funding and all that kind of stuff. But if the machine doesn't work, the machine doesn't work. It doesn't matter what else there is. And the fact that no one's really like, well, we got to get to this thing, it's kind of interesting. It's and also the fact that this one guy that we interviewed is really, you got to see these emails he's writing to us. These things are incredible. These must take him like a half an hour to write. And this is like a really busy guy that I'm sure is talking to a whole bunch of people about a whole bunch of things. He's got his own entire projects going on, yet he has time. And this came like late Friday night. It's phenomenal. This gentleman, I really have a lot of respect for him, and I really appreciate what he's trying to do for us. And I just think it's kind of a little bit, demoralizing that, the folks on my team that should be looking at this email and responding and cracking a whip for us to go are nowhere to be found. And I just find that, well, it just is what it is, right? No judgment. I'm just observing. I think, but this is I think this is critical, because this is something that I've been, this kind of pro bono startup work that I had talked about, that I've been doing. This, join a team, understand, try to do my best to use intuition to understand the team and how the team is formed and how it's, the strengths, the weaknesses. And that's exactly what I'm doing with this team. Is okay, if we're really going to have a startup, this is not something you just kind of nonchalantly walk into. It's not the kind of thing that you say, oh, well, hey, if it works out, great. And, it's blood, sweat, tears, pain, persistence, patience. It's the whole thing. It's a decade commitment of, as Gary Vee would say, eating it. I try to keep this channel clean here, but it's interesting. So it's an observation. It's not judgment. I really like my teammates. I think that they're great and they're freaking brilliant. There's no doubt about that. But there's something different about having a startup. It's just something that is just entirely different, and it's not something that's to be taken lightly. And this is one of those kind of red flags. The fact that no one on my team is banging their fist to go to this conference kind of almost seals the deal for me in a way that this is not really gonna move anywhere after this. But and I'm in a real observation type mode, because after this I-Corps ends, I move on to some other big projects. I got my side hustle that I'm working on, so I am certainly going to be with plenty of work, and to add this to the plate, especially in a non-funded way, would be next to impossible, right? So anyhow, but the I-Corps program, really enjoying the program. Really, it's just, it's phenomenal what we've learned, the work that we've put in. I've really, I'm hugely grateful to my industry mentor, Alan. You are the man. I've learned so much from you. I really appreciate your hard work. Our team would be so lost without you, I have to say, because unfortunately, due to a bunch of other circumstances, our co-PIs, as I'll call them, had a real hard time. Well, just with other commitments that they had, they weren't able to put as much time into this as they wanted. And just deploying a lot of empathy toward both of them, because it's, I get it. It's not their fault that they weren't able to hit this with as much oomph as they wanted. And Alan really stepped in and just crushed it. He just killed it. He just, every time I call him, it's almost like it's becoming a joke when I call him, because it's like, what now? It's just, I'm constantly, because all of these interviews that I'm scheduling, I need him there with me, because I can't let any technical anything fall through the cracks, because I'm not going to catch all that stuff. And it's just too much work to record the whole thing, because, what I'm learning is that we're in the interview, something technical flies, he's got to catch it and throw something back to keep it, to kind of dig more. I don't have the ability, to do that right now. And so, and I don't think I'm ever going to have the ability, as complicated and as intense as this is. Alan's got several decades of experience. He's got a PhD, several decades of experience in this specific area, or I'm not this specific area, but in a very related area. And there are even times when he is a bit, I don't say dumbfounded, but kind of needs to write something down and get back to somebody. So I don't feel so bad, right? So, and it's kind of the joke is, I call Alan before I schedule any interview to make sure that he can be there with me, because unfortunately my PIs are just they got too much else going on. And it's even if I check their calendar and I schedule something that is open for them, it's not a guarantee that they'll be there. So, but yeah, Alan, you've been crushing. I really appreciate it. A lot of gratitude and a lot of empathy for my PIs, because I know that they're pulled in a lot of directions, and that's it's never fun to, it must be tough to join a program like this and not to be able to commit. I'm lucky that I was able to create a space for myself to fully commit to this program, and I'm proud to say that. But at the same time, like, I knew that was important for me. Our co-PIs, not really sure where this sits in their kind of list of personal priorities. So, but yeah, at the same time, I think that we've made tremendous progress. There's no doubt that I think everyone can look at this body of work that we've put together and say, yeah, you guys, the team did a fantastic job. So excited about that. And if we win this award, this government funding, I mean, it's like $3+ million, nothing to shake a stick at. I mean, that's a huge, and and the PIs are, the primary folks that push that proposal through. So I mean, it's and I can't, I haven't seen it. I can't, I'm sure it took a tremendous amount of work, and just the timing didn't really work for this program, because the timing of that proposal was essentially the month of June, which was the first month of I-Corps was they spent on the proposal. So, and it was reviewed by many people in the company, and so that's where the empathy comes from. It's like, I can't imagine what that must have been like, writing that thing, to propose for such an amount of money, and have it and go through all the reviews and all the what have yous. But yeah, I'm just loving this I-Corps program, loving my success journal, really keeping me on track, keeping me going. So yeah, a lot of this stuff is just, I'm gonna remember this for the rest of my life, and I'm gonna pull so much from this experience. And I'm so glad that I've been really pounding on empathy, because a past version of me would have complained and blamed and all this unnecessary waste of energy. And now what I can do is I can just spin that into, how can I make this work? How can I, my PI's got other stuff to do. How can I step in and step up? And Alan's been doing that, and I've been doing that, and so that's the opportunity there. And so if the old me would have showed up with the blaming and the complaining, it would have totally messed that up. I'm trying to think of what would have happened instead. It would just been wasted energy, just stress and wasted energy. And like, I have to admit, this program, as intense as it is, it's really has not stressed me out whatsoever. There have been very few times when I've been stressed out. And those times, I've noticed, those times have been that kind of initial reaction to something happening that kind of, was maybe frustrating for me, where that old me kind of got that first word in, like, mentally. And then this kind of new me that's like, you know what? Deploy some empathy. Chill out. Pick up the slack. Step up, step it up. Challenge. I would challenge myself. How can I, extend myself to make up for, the fact that, my PI's got to write this proposal and they won't be able to contribute as much? What can I do to go an extra mile? And I think that's also just getting back to these presentations and my lack of priority there. I think that all contributes in there. And now that I think about it, like just the fact that I had to extend myself in some other areas, it really, it really kind of forced me to really prioritize things and just kind of get into, like, no, that's just not as important as these other things are. And I have to say that the product that we have is just, we have a phenomenal body of work. Just the progress that we've made, the end result, and I like the fact that I'm realizing this, and now I'm committing to really crushing this next presentation, to realize my kind of not slip up, but like kind of I don't know, my choice not to put the time in on the presentations. I'll say it that way, because that's really what it is. It's a choice. This is not something that accidentally happened. I chose not to put that time in there and put it elsewhere. So, and yeah, and so now my commitment is on the presentation. I'm still finishing strong with the customer discovery interviews. I was on LinkedIn this weekend, still poking and prodding at new folks to set up interviews, and a bunch of them have come back. So I got like, I think 3 or 4 bonus interviews just from poking around LinkedIn and sending out a connection. and a little, like, 3-sentence message. It's amazing how well that works. And I really think that we're in this time now with LinkedIn, and maybe I'm just new to it and I'm wrong. I'm open to that, but my direct experience tells me that I can do things on LinkedIn that kind of go against like a kind of standard business etiquette. Like, I can approach people that I have essentially no right approaching in some regard with this kind of intro on what we're doing here, and just see. And the beauty is, the worst thing is, they just don't respond to it. And the way I see it is like, no harm, no foul. I mean, it's, we're all adults here, right? If they're like, no, I don't have time for that, then they don't have time for it, and because I see it as a very, like, low, what's the word here? It's very little effort for them to say no. It's not like I'm setting up a meeting and we're going to talk for half an hour and then they have to make a decision, or I'm really almost taking none of their time if they say no, right? I mean, it's literally the amount of time to read 3 sentences, if that, right? I mean, they might just see a connection from someone they don't know and just blow it off. That's like, what, 3 seconds, 5 seconds of time? So I think because of that, that's why I think it works so well. Because if they're interested, and if I did a good job with my copy, right? Thinking about Gary Vee, I listened to some great audio podcasts on the way down to Santa Clara, and the other day on Friday, and he was talking about copy and how, different types of, like, so you can have the same essential content, like base content, like video or whatever it is, image or images, but the little copy that packages it, depending on what platform you're on, I don't know why I'm doing this, depending on what platform you're on, think like the person on that platform. And I totally get what Gary Vee means by, I'm a different person, whether I'm on YouTube, whether I'm on LinkedIn, whether I'm on Instagram, like, for example, on YouTube, for some reason, I really like watching UFC fights. I'm not like a big UFC fan, but for some reason, I like watching some really, like, awesome martial arts. I totally dig it. I don't watch it anywhere else, but I watch it there. But on LinkedIn, it's more the entrepreneurial side of me. It's more the, how can I support my fellow, like the people in my network, how, I just think entirely differently. When I'm on SoundCloud, totally different person, right? I'm looking for, specific types of music. I'm looking to make playlists of these, these different music, and it's interesting. If you notice my SoundCloud, I pull in titles of kind of some of the stuff that I come across at work. Some of these crazy, sentences that someone speaks in a meeting, where it's like this unbelievably deep technical jargon that only, like, 20 people on the planet would understand. Stuff like that. But anyway, so what I'm getting at is if I package my copy correctly, right? If I say the right 3 sentences to a person based on their, on their profile, and based on the people that connect us, I will get a response. And I've probably sent out 20 of these things, and I think I've gotten 10 responses, I'm guessing. I mean, I should probably quantify it. I can, right? I can find out. I can just go look how many people did I not even have a clue who they were, except the fact that I came across their profile. And even some people that said no actually literally said no, I don't have time for this. But most just kind of if it's no, they don't respond. But it kind of puts it on me. It's like, write some decent copy, like write some quality 3 sentences. That's a challenge, right? It's that Mark Twain comment, I didn't have time to write a short letter, so I wrote a long one instead, right? So anyway, I will wrap there. It's way too late. I'm tired. It's 12:29 a.m. I gotta get up, early again tomorrow. Sunday, gonna make some crepes for my daughter. She wanted crepes today, but I will make them for her tomorrow, well, this morning. And that's it. So y'all have a great night. This channel is all about my journey as an aspiring entrepreneur, things I'm doing, also as a husband, as a father. So you get a little bit of that in there as well, as you got today. And yeah, so check out the links down below. I won't go through the whole description of the links because I want to go to bed, but there's a bunch of good stuff down there. There's inspirational stuff, there's music, the beat in the background, check it out down there. Inspired by Fela Kuti. And that's it. So get some sleep, wake up tomorrow, light it up, crush it, do great things, inspire folks, and I will see you in the morning.